Okay, guys, can we see and hear me? Please let me know if you can see me and hear me. And fingers crossed, this is going to do the trick. Because if this doesn't do the trick, I'm all out of tricks. Mama Flossie says yes. Shem says yes. Okay. You can see, you can hear. Excellent stuff, guys. Okay. We've come through. We've come through the other side of it, hopefully, guys. Fingers crossed that is going to be us for the stream. Boffman's all pleased with himself. He's given everybody a salute and not the bad kind. Bloody hell. That is absolutely disastrous. That is so frustrating. I cannot explain to you how frustrating that is to be literally live. There's very little I can do and to just try and get it going. So I am so glad that we have in fact actually managed to get that working. Flossie says big up to Boffman. The one and only thing about this is I cannot put your chats on the screen. The way this one works, which is why I use the other one. I like the other one. I like being able to put your chats on the screen, your super chats and stuff. In this setting, I cannot put your chats on the screen, but at this moment in time, this is the way we're going to have to roll until things get sorted out, because we just absolutely could not continue the way we were previously. Thank you all so very much for not giving up. Thank you all very much for not just leaving me, abandoning me. I do appreciate you all being here. You're all very, very, very kind, and it's very much appreciated. And you are all very patient. Much more patient than me. So let us go back. Oh, hold on. Can I see? No, I can't. I thought I could put it on the screen, but I actually can't. It was just a lie. I was telling myself, but it was just a lie. So let us go back. Let us go back to the story. Let us go back to the show. Let me get this back up on the screen. Okay. So, essentially, we already had the news yesterday from all of the Spanish journalists that the deal was in fact agreed between Vini and Real Madrid, that he definitely was staying at Real Madrid. Sky obviously backed that as well, because Sky have gotten their information, we believe, from Real Madrid. So essentially, David Ornstein has come out and now confirmed all of that. So I think that's the end of the Vini dream for Arsenal. Again, it's not really anything drastic since yesterday, but it's the, I suppose, the final stamp, the final seal of, or the final nail in the coffin of that deal. Either way, the deal is now done and over, and we move on. Now, this one, I don't know about you, but I most certainly need a bit of light relief at this moment in time. And obviously there's been all the Lewis Hall talk. So there's been Lewis Hall and United talks and loose links throughout the entirety of the summer, really. But because so many other players had been leaving Newcastle, it was sort of bubbling away under the surface. So Newcastle fans, I believe, probably weren't seeing maybe a lot of this news, but United fans have been bombarded with it all summer. And so obviously it's picked up now again in the last few days, because Bruno G's gone, Tonali's gone, Gordon's gone. There's nothing really else to talk about, so they've moved on to the Lewis Hall story and sort of blown it up a little bit bigger. But Lee Ryder has come out, bless him, from the Chronicle, okay? And he has said Newcastle have doubled down on Lewis Hall exit talk here in La Manga. So double down on the fact that they don't want to sell him. Now, this was quote tweeted, and it's comic relief, guys. This was quote tweeted by The Noise, which you'll have heard me speak about before. It's a Newcastle account. They're a YouTube account and also an X account, but they're a Newcastle fan, so they're taking the mick out of themselves, okay? And so they've quote tweeted Lee Ryder saying that Newcastle have doubled down and they're definitely not selling Lewis Hall. And has said, well, OFFS, so we know what that means. Well, we all know what this means then. And then he's commented underneath and been like, actually, it could be worse. It's not Luke Edwards saying it, so maybe he does actually stay. And I know it just made me just giggle so much because the Newcastle fans, as we know, have been absolutely through the ringer. They've been through the ringer, so they have, in the last wee while. And I just thought, you know what, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. And I thought it was really, really funny that a Newcastle fan themselves has quote tweeted Lee Ryder been like, Lewis Hall's definitely not for sale, being like, oh, well, we all know what that means. He's definitely for sale now. And it just gave you a little bit of a giggle. And I think, do you know what? Sometimes we need a laugh and a joke in life, don't we? Especially when things are going wrong. I should follow my own advice instead of losing the map. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Buddy says, please don't talk about Liverpool. I'm tired about watching, monitoring, looking, asking, contacting, interested in and considering. Well, I'll tell you what, buddy, you haven't mentioned appreciating, which is one of the personal favourites of mine. Man United appreciate players these days. At least you're still monitoring them. We just appreciate them whether we're watching them or not. Shem says Boffman is the GOAT. Boffman getting loads of praise in the chat there. Guess telling me not to, just don't touch anything really, says Guess, before I break it again. In this instance though, I do believe that I am in fact the innocent party, and both StreamYard and YouTube are out to get me. I will be honest though, guys, I was going through StreamYard and I was having all them problems. I'm now streaming through OBS and so far so good. So I don't know, maybe I am blaming YouTube and it's actually StreamYard. I do have to put that out there. It might be a StreamYard thing and not a YouTube thing, which is highly frustrating because, as I said, it just means I cannot put your chats on the screen, which bugs the life out of me. But as it is, that's how we go. But as you can see, my internet is sensational. It's not my internet. It's one of the systems. It might be StreamYard though, rather than YouTube as such. But it's so frustrating. So frustrating. Shem was delighted. Shem was first into the new one. He got the redirect and he was straight in there. Hello to Wes, who says, we monitor or hijack. Swear our director of football is either the Hamburglar or Grimace at this point. Do you know what? Are there actually any fans, many fans, that are happy with their team's window so far? And I see, I've adjusted my wording because I see all boxed stuff in there. Trafford has signed for Leeds. Delighted. So, United fans, I think, overall aren't very happy. Liverpool fans, overall, not very happy. Arsenal fans, how are the Arsenal fans? I know they're happy with Bruno G, and they seem to be happy with Solis, but are they happy overall with the window? I don't know. If you're an Arsenal fan, tell me. City? Surely City fans can't be that happy, and we are going to talk about City. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but they've done bugger all, so they surely at this point in time can't be that happy. I think Spurs fans, I think Spurs did all right and then they fell off a bit. Spurs fans, though, in general, most of the ones I'm seeing aren't delighted. Who else? Who am I forgetting? Chelsea? Are Chelsea maybe happy? Chelsea might be happy. I know they've spent some money, but they're doing all right. Chelsea fans might be okay. It's very mixed. Very mixed. So some are really happy, some are absolutely just not. But all the pieces will fall into place in the season, really. But let us get to that Nusa story. Poor Harold. I was in the throes of the stress. And poor Harold, I picked out the wrong comment and he just got it. It's all right. Harold will understand. Harold's a very nice person. He'll totally understand. And his team is winning, so he won't mind. Won't mind, it'll be all right. But Nusa, Antonio Nusa, we spoke about yesterday that there was reports of Nusa being linked to Spurs, which is how we found out about the secret Shelderup deal, who actually is linked to Spurs because they've put in an offer for him. But Nusa has denied reports on his exit this summer. He said the media can write whatever they want. I've never asked to leave Leipzig. I'm here back from vacation and focused on Leipzig, he has told Sky Sports Germany. So the rumour started, or we found the rumour about Nusa yesterday. Nusa has come out today and said, that's a big old lie. I haven't asked to leave. I am entirely happy where I am and I plan on staying here. So it was all a bit of a storm in a teacup. However, I'm very, very glad that we did find that story, because we wouldn't have found out about Shelderup otherwise. But it goes to show you sometimes, even when you think the sources are decent, it can be nonsense. So Buddy says, who's done the most business? Well, at this moment in time, Spurs did 6. Has anyone done more than 6? That's I think the limit. Let's see. Has any that's not how you spell. Prem team signed more than 6 players this window? I'm sorry, what? Chelsea have signed 10 players this window? What? Right, okay, hold on. Not all of these. I'm not counting all of these. Frig away off. Right, so. Yeah, Mohammed. Like, excellent question. Who has signed the most players? Who put that in? Buddy. Who has signed the most players? Chelsea have signed 10. Their squad's already massive. Right, so they've signed Morgan Rogers, which we knew about. They've signed Lacroix, which we knew about. Palestra, we knew about. Giovanni Quenda, Emmanuel Emega, Jordan Henderson, Danny Welbeck, Valentin Barco. So we knew about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We knew about 8 of them, to be fair, actually. I just didn't see them all totting up, but we did know about 8 of them. So 2 others were Dastan Satpev from Kairat Almaty for £2.1 million and somebody called Denner from Corinthians. So I don't know what age they are. They could be youth players. So, but to be fair, out of the 10 of them, we did actually know about 8. When did that happen? I said this. What did I say about Chelsea yesterday? I told you all yesterday, Chelsea have just been quietly belting away doing business. No drama. They've just been quietly working away behind the scenes. I said this yesterday about Chelsea. I didn't realise how correct I was. Let me see. I'm trying to find out more. I want to know who else has signed a load of players we don't know about. Ipswich Town have made 12 signings. Ipswich are determined to stay in the Premier League, lads. This is excellent. Right, hold on. I need to make this. Can I make this bigger so I can see you? Because this is really hard for me to read. The writing's tiny. I'm used to that other screen where the writing's really big. And I'm blind as a bat. Hold on till I make you a bit bigger and I can see you then. Right. Zoom. Oh no, not that much. That's a lot of zoom. Sorry guys, we're working on the fly this evening. Yeah, that's all right. I can see you there. Okay, we're going to do the list, but I want to be able to see your chats. I know I can't put them on the screen, but I do want to be able to read them at least. Right. So. Palace. Hello, Palace. Palace says Ipswich have made 12. Oh my God. Yeah, me too. We're going to read them now in a minute. All Boxed Up says, by the way, hello to everyone who survived the sabotage and those who have newly joined in. Hit the like, please, people. Yes, please do hit the like, especially if you've already hit it on the other stream that we had to abandon and you've now joined this stream. Please do hit the like button for me. A for effort, if not for technology. But yeah, That is absolutely massive. And Daz reminding everyone to smash the like button as well. Thank you very much. Wes says, not happy, and Wes says, Liverpool says, not happy because there isn't a plan to me. Barcola screams of, we won't pay the fee and walk away, and we've only been linked with players who have had a good World Cup. Yes, I actually am starting to get more and more concerned about you guys, like if I was trying to be impartial, because genuinely you've got a really good manager, but the only player you've got is Munoz, and you didn't even find him. You stole him from Newcastle. So Newcastle found him, and then you just stole him. And the only other thing you have appeared to work on is Barcola. And I said the other day I wouldn't be shocked if you walk away from this, because it's not moving forward. For interest, talk, the whole thing just seems to be like stalled at the minute. Nothing seems to be moving forward. I wouldn't be shocked if you walk away from it. And I don't really know who else you're lining up other than potentially Djed Spence, but Man United are apparently in for Djed Spence as well. And it's not even that we're in for him, it's that his agent is offering him around. So I have to be honest, if I was a Liverpool fan, I would be getting concerned. I really, really would. All Boxed Up is absolutely buzzing with the sign of James Trafford. I'm delighted for you, All Boxed Up. Not for Leeds, but I'm delighted for you. Let me see. What else are you saying? Mohammed says the Chelsea fans that he's hearing from are still not happy. Well, do they know they've signed 8 players? Well, they've signed 10, right? But I've come back out here and I've looked again. 8 of them are for senior. So they've signed 8 senior signings, which is still quite a lot, to be fair. And most of them are quite good. And it's across the age groups. It's a mix of experience. I think they're looking all right. I think they're looking okay. We'll see if it all comes together, but it looks okay. Let me see. No, I've actually been up that far. Right, we can go forward now. All Boxed Up says, All Boxed Up. Mohammed says, I think Barcola gets it done. It's a question if the others get done. I don't think you can't, but what is the hold up? What actually is now being weighted on that yous aren't moving forward? I don't understand what is taking so long, basically, is where I'm at. Let me see. Right, so let's look at the Ipswich 12, which I just absolutely... Now, obviously, they're not going to be like big mad signings, right? But we have to be for real, guys. So, and I do have an Ipswich story as well. We are going to circle back round to City. But since this come up naturally, let's go to this first. Ipswich have signed Florentino Luis, Kjell Sherpin, Dezin Maeda, Emerson, Abdul Fatwa, Issa Diop, Chuba Akpom, Van Kevelen, Cedric Kipra, Frankie Runham, Luca Fletcher, and Christopher Atherton. And they are currently now also linked, and they're in the middle of signing. There's a club-to-club agreement for Sasa Lukic to join Ipswich from Fulham. Club-to-club agreement is close, according to Ben Jacobs. If all goes to plan, Lukic will undergo his medical on Friday. So they're about to make it 13. Do you know what? More power to them. Last season, the trend of 3 up, 3 down got bucked completely. And Ipswich, now that they've got their foot in the door of the Premier League, they are absolutely not going back down. I absolutely love the complete dedication by Ipswich. If they go back down, it's certainly not for lack of trying or for a lack of ambition. So fair bloody play to them. 12 transfers from Ipswich, followed by Chelsea, who we've discussed already, and then followed by Brighton. So Brighton have signed, why did we not do this before? Brighton have signed Luka Vuskovic, Kostinja, Michael Svoboda, Zadok Johanna, who was the young man who was also linked to Newcastle, but Brighton had been in from first. Pascal Strick, Rodrigo Rega, and Valentin Joseph. Then you have, obviously, Spurs. And then Newcastle and Brentford are tied in 5th with 5 signings each. So Newcastle, we know, is Ewan Yoen, Bazumana Torre, Sean Starr, Alaji Bamba and Lucas Hornacek. And yeah, you've got more in the works but not done yet. And then Brentford, Yannick Schuster, Callum Wilson, Jaden Anthony, Sam Sene Richardson and Mamadou Sangare, who a lot of people wanted at United. Guys, of these, so in the top 5, which is actually 6 because we've a joint 5th, the only top team is Chelsea. No Arsenal, who, to be fair, as I said, don't need to do a lot. They needed to just improve, but they didn't need to drastically overhaul what they were doing. But no Liverpool and no United, who absolutely need a rake of players. No City. They will obviously up their tally if they get Buwadi over the line and then somebody else to not replace Rodri, but to take that spot in the squad. Who else? Who am I forgetting? Arsenal, Liverpool, City, United, Chelsea, and obviously we've mentioned Spurs. Fairs. Absolutely fairs. But I told you, I said this yesterday, Chelsea have been quietly going about business. Chelsea have absolutely been quietly going about business. That is insane. I genuinely had no clue that was how many they had. There you go. We've learned something new today. And it's not just that YouTube and StreamYard are doing their best to absolutely give me a heart attack. But I keep promising we're going to talk about City. So that's what we're going to do next. I just want to read some of your comments. All Boxed Up says, caution and irony. Ipswich signed 12, but may need a goalie with bricklaying skills to protect the goal. Wes says, the issue is a lot of teams are just buying replacements and not strengthening. I agree. Bonkers has given me the word Villa. How many have Villa done? Let's look. How many signings have Villa made this summer? Let's see. Aston Villa. They've also made 5. So they're joint 4th, 5th. They have got Johan Manzambi, João Gomez, Modou Keba Cisse, Alejandro Garnacho, Blade Early. He looks like a young player. And as we spoke about earlier, they're highly likely to get Matteo Ruggeri. So Aston Villa might be about to overtake Newcastle and Brentford on that list and join Spurs on the number 6 category. There's so many teams making so many moves. Liverpool and Man United fans have to be the most frustrated in the league. We have to be. Just based on what we've literally just read, surely United and Liverpool fans are the most annoyed at the minute. Maybe I'm wrong though. Tell me if there's a team I'm missing that is also very annoyed. Harold is back. Did it finish 5-0, Harold, or was there any more goals? Flossie says, like check. Yes, please do remember to hit the like button on our new stream for this evening. Mr. DJ Milkshake says, I saw that City might be in for 3 additional midfielders, Buwadi, Kone and Scott or Wharton. Very interesting. So we'll have a little look at that now. It stopped at 5, says Harold. I suppose to be fair, 5's a lot. 5 is a lot. Let me see. Lucky in the chat giving some transfer advice. We love it. Lucky says, we've seen this movie before. They're not coming. Lucky is just all the reality for us. Let me see. Flossie says we need Kai here for all of the Chelsea signings. Don't you worry. I'll stock it all up here for when Kai's on with me. He won't escape the questions. But I see some of the news going in there about Manchester City. So let's go through some of the reports and then we'll have a look at maybe anything that I've missed, okay? So this one has come out. This very first report that I'm about to read is from Shamoun Hafez, who works for BBC. And he had said, though there is an acknowledgement they have not been as active as they would have liked this summer, senior Man City sources say they are relaxed and have full trust in their transfer strategy. Well, there's something that the Manchester teams have in common. Apparently, we're all very relaxed and nobody's panicked about anything. It has been pointed out Antoine Semenyo and Mark Guehi were long-term targets and signed in January, deals that were brought forward from this summer. The squad is seen as young and exciting, with Vitor Reis is expected to be part of the first team. That's very interesting because I've never seen that before. It's completely new information. Maybe that has been pushed out into the Manchester City circles previously. It's not news that I had seen before today. So, Antoine Semenyo and Mark Guehi were considered for this summer. They were brought forward into the January transfer window, but apparently, according to the BBC here, the inside senior Man City sources are saying they are considered, I suppose, a part of this summer's movements because this is when they were planned for and they were only brought forward due to the opportunity arising earlier and not wanting to miss out on them. So I have to say, I find that incredibly interesting just because it's completely new information and it's coming from a reasonable source. It's not an ITK, it's not an unknown journalist as such. It is from the BBC. Now, nobody is infallible, but it's quite interesting. Mr. DJ Milkshake giving us some extra information on that. Reis is expected to come back from loan. He's expected to be in the centre-back rotation. So a part of your squad depth. Totally fine. There you go. Expected to be part of the first team, as in the first team squad, expected to be in the centre-back rotation. But I had never heard that before. Antoine Semenyo, not put in this way. Semenyo and Guehi were part of this summer's transfer plan, and even though they were bought in January through the opportunity, the fact that kind of it's being reminded that they were bought, it's considered a part of the summer. They were brought forward from this summer is what this says. So I found that incredibly interesting. But it's not the only news that's out there, to be fair. There is more news. This is coming in from Simon Bajkowski, who is the chief Manchester City writer for the Manchester Evening News, the MEN. And he has said, Man City would only consider losing Rodri for the right fee, but also if they were able to sign a replacement, which is cool, we know that. The same applies to Tijani Reinders, who is looking likely to leave amid interest from Nottingham Forest, Newcastle United and Galatasaray. Now, as we spoke about yesterday, the most up-to-date interest, active interest, appears to be from Nottingham Forest, because we only literally spoke about that yesterday. But that's just a little addition. They would want somebody to replace him, and he will only be let go for the right fee. To be fair, we know Nottingham Forest have the money. It's not as if they can't afford him. It's about whether... it's about who has to go into the negotiating room with Marinakis. Because I have to say, that's not a job that I would envy, to be fair. Not a job that I would envy at all. But it does, I suppose, also lend weight to the idea that Tijani Reinders is looking likely to leave, because it's exactly what it says, amid interest from multiple clubs. So very, very interesting. Mr. DJ Milkshake says, City actually uses the January transfer window like it's supposed to be used. They do, absolutely, and kudos to them. But I find it interesting that it's like a group. It's like this is the plan for the summer. If we can do something in January that brings that plan forward, great. But we're not going to forget that when the summer comes back around. I think it's fantastic. I wish my club would use January. We seem to not be aware that there's a transfer window in January. We pretend it doesn't exist. So I wouldn't criticise City for using it, but I like to just know things. So I feel like we've got a little bit of insight or information that we don't normally get about Manchester City, and I found it quite interesting. The same as this. So we've seen all the rumours about Tijani Reinders maybe going. We've seen the interest. We spoke yesterday about the Nottingham Forest interest. But here it is confirmed by somebody who specifically covers Manchester City. So it's not a case of sort of non-City journalists are saying he's going to go and then City journalists are saying, not so sure. There's a kind of an agreement there across the board. Tijani Reinders is looking likely to leave. So I do like to get the other side. Do you know, I do think it adds extra colour. On top of that, and to be fair, considering what I've just said about Barcola and Liverpool, that's kind of how I'm starting to feel about Man City and Ayoub Buwadi. Because this is from James Ducker in The Telegraph, who says, Man City are progressing in talks with Lille over a deal for Ayoub Buwadi and are pushing ahead with a move regardless of the uncertainty over Rodri's future. That is the part that I find really interesting, because a lot of people are saying Ayoub Buwadi, the successor to Rodri, Ayoub Buwadi, the replacement for Rodri, and not the replacement because he's... Oh, see this food change thing. Honestly, it just really irritates me. All the buzzwords really irritate me. Yes, Flossie, food change seems to be the new buzzword. I just think it's a new way of being irritating. I hate the buzzwords. They do my nutting. So let me continue my thought, because I hate the buzzwords, as we know. But I do feel like, for me, from the outside, the Ayoub Buwadi deal is starting to feel a bit like the Barcola deal. You've been progressing in talks for several weeks. It's been moving. You've been interested. You want him. There's been talks, discussions, progress. Okay, so just sign him then. It's not that I think you won't. It's that I'm just move it along. Like, just move it along. The same as I said about Barcola and Liverpool is exactly how I feel about Buwadi and City. Just move it along. Now, we do know, and I will be fair, we do know that some of the delay for Buwadi is around the fact that Lille want to sell him and then keep him for a season on loan. And then Man City want to sign him and take him immediately. So obviously that has extended those discussions. But for how long? At this point, everybody knows City want to buy him and take him this season. So either Lille are going to say, yes, you can, or no, you can't. And if the answer is yes, you can, what are you still talking about? Do you know what I mean? I just get a bit impatient, lads. And it's nothing to do with a specific team. I just strongly lack patience. And to be fair, there is a City fan, and they are a City fan. MCI Kevin. And in his bio, it says MCFC. So he's a City fan, okay? And his response to this was, progressing, advancing, close, will join, nearing. Bro, we are tired. Another City fan, this one is MCFC Leo, has said, progressing, advancing, negotiating, considering, pursuing, intensifying. Oh my days, I'm losing my mind. I can't take this anymore. And you know what? I am laughing, not because it's Manchester City. I am laughing because I relate to this so badly. I am so sick. And look, I know it's these journalist jobs. They're only doing their jobs. And if we weren't getting any updates, we would be demanding updates. We are the consumer. It's our fault, okay? But I'm sick to the back teeth of all of these words. Just do the deal and then tell me it's done. Do you know what I mean? There we are. Do you know what? See, when it comes to the transfer window, I actually think it's when I'm the least, what's the word? Tribal. Because bad recruitment or slow recruitment or inefficient recruitment just really irritates me regardless of who the club is that's involved in the deal. Just hurry up. Do you know what I mean? We've all already got the information. Either you're going to do it or you're not. It's very straightforward. Oh dear. Oh dear. Lucky says they're all special words. They're special, all right. Especially irritating. Oh, I'm doing my best impression of a former US president. Yes, you can. Just hurry up and do it. Tell us the next story, please. My insatiable need for new tea is not being satisfied by all of these incremental updates. Mr. DJ Milkshake also says, if Rodri leaves, we want him immediately. If Rodri stays, he can stay on loan. Well, that was kind of the other point of that story from James Ducker. You want him regardless of Rodri's future, which tells me he's not, in fact, the replacement for Rodri, which tells me you're going to hopefully, well, you guys are planning at the minute to get Buadi and another if Rodri does go. Which again keeps bringing me back to Enzo Fernandez. Every time I just keep going back to Enzo Fernandez because I can't see where else he goes. I just can't see where else he goes, and I think he has got to go. Buddy says, does it really take 3 weeks on Barcola? If you don't want to pay the price, just move on. I agree. You're preaching to the choir. You're singing to the choir. We're in the choir together, buddy. This is the fee, right? And I understand a bit of haggling. I understand a bit of, we start at 70, you start at 90, we meet at 80, right? I get it. But it doesn't take 3 weeks to do that. You're either close enough that you're genuinely about to sign him, or after 3 weeks, you're not any closer, at which point, do just walk away because you're wasting your time and it's finite. You know? Solid Blake, thank you so very much. Solid Blake has sent us in the Foxy. Let me see what the Foxy says. It is the, how's it going, Foxy? Thank you very, very much to Solid Blake. Unfortunately, I can't show it on the screen because the internet hates me right now. But but I do very much appreciate it. So thank you very much to Solid Blake. We love the Foxy in here. Let me see. Lucky wants Xerxes to force a move to Como. Como are signing somebody else at the minute. It seems to be a loan to Juve for Xerxes, which just is another irritant. A lot of what my team has done in this window or not done in this window has absolutely irritated me. Bonnie Senior in the house, thank you so much. I did see Bonnie joined us on the previous stream, but has come across with us, so thank you so much to Bonnie, much appreciated. And Mr. DJ Milkshake says, Man City centre backs, Kushinov, Guehi, Diaz, Reyes, Gvardiol and Alain. I mean, it's not bad, is it? It's not bad. You'd take it. You would take it. And I think I'm all right there. Right, let us go forward. Let us go the other direction. I was in reverse and now I'm in drive. Let's go. Lucky is talking about the buzzwords. Rob is saying he doesn't like them either. Maybe it is an age thing. Maybe we're all too old. Rob says, don't say to myself I'm too old. Maybe I'm too old as well. Maybe I'm older up here than I am supposed to be. Right. Where are we? Buddy says, last season Liverpool spent £400 million and sold players for £250 million, and the season before that bought Chiesa for £12 million. We've spent nothing. Overhaul. That's what I mean. Don't even talk to me about net spend in a window, because bloody hell, United have spent barely anything, and we're still just incapable of buying. Just in terms, Liverpool and United, disastrous at the moment. But let us move on to the next bit of news. This is a nice bit of news, actually. I read it today and I thought it was lovely. And I knew I was going to be talking about Man City. So I said, let's just bring it into the show, because otherwise I won't be able to. And guys, as we know, I am a little bit ad hoc. So we're just rolling with it as we go at the minute. This is actually quotes from Calvin Phillips. And as I read it, it might start to make sense about something I mentioned on the show earlier today. So, this is from Calvin Phillips. Manchester City were playing Leicester, and I came on for about half an hour. I was awful, absolutely awful. I went home so upset with myself that I started crying. I messaged Marcelo Bielsa and asked if we could talk. It was so good to see him. He told me, "You've got the ability. It's just about confidence and staying positive." Since that conversation, I've tried to be as positive as I can. A manager's influence doesn't always end when the player leaves the club. And this, to me, is obviously a very nice story. I also think it's an extension of what we said at lunchtime. The manager most definitely, absolutely, 100% factually matters. It matters. They matter. And I just would like to thank Calvin Phillips for reinforcing the point that we spoke about earlier on today. I also thought it was a really nice just story to share, because we've so many miserable, angry stories. So I just wanted to share a nice little happy story. I mean, I don't want to buy him or anything, but I thought it was a nice story. Which does bring us to a player that we are actually linked with buying. So Ben Jacobs said, Liverpool, and let me just give the context. James Waithland, who is a journalist who specifically covers Liverpool, came out yesterday at 8:20 in the morning and said Liverpool's interest in Djed Spence is genuine. The club have inquired about the possibility of a loan deal with an obligation to buy. Ben Jacobs then came out today and said Liverpool are not currently working on Djed Spence. Spence is open to a move away from Spurs and has been offered to several clubs, but Liverpool are focused on other targets as it stands. So, believe who you like. But by the sounds of it, Djed Spence has been offered to other clubs and is open to moving away from Spurs. So I've pulled together a little list of who has linked him to where. So the Sun and that James Waithland had linked him to Liverpool. Ben Jacobs has said, as we've just said, he's been offered around. He's been offered to Man United. And he's been offered to Liverpool. Liverpool are not currently interested, but there's no update on whether United would actually want him or not. There was no extra information on that I've seen. I didn't watch the show, so I'm going on quotes. If there's extra information, please do get it into the chat. I don't mind the extra context. Previously in the summer, Team Talk had also linked him to Liverpool. But obviously the more up-to-date is that Liverpool are currently doing other things. Now, maybe when Liverpool are finished doing their other things, they might come back to him if he's still available. But Fabrizio had previously said that Inter Milan viewed Spence as a primary target. And and have remained in ongoing talks with Tottenham regarding his valuation. And previously, way previously, Everton had submitted a £25 million offer to Tottenham in an attempt to secure the 25-year-old defender, which fell short of Spurs' asking price. That was Ben Jacobs as well. And supposedly the asking price, or what he's rated as, is £35 million. I don't know. Is that good, bad, indifferent? The thing is, he primarily play as a right back? And do tell me if I'm wrong. Doesn't he primarily play as a right back? He's the wrong side for United. We need a left back. I know he's capable of playing on the left, but his position is right back. Tell me if I'm wrong, because if that's the case, it doesn't work for us either. Whether you rate him or don't rate him, good or not good, it's not a position we need. We've got Dalot and Mazraoui, and neither of them are being sold in this window. So unless somebody's just going to be continuously played out of position, what would be the point? So it may be the case that Inter take him. And if it's the case that it's only Inter that are primarily in for him, would he still want to go? So he's open to leaving, not massively pushing his way out. So is it a case that he's open to leaving if it's a Premier League team that he potentially sees as a step up? Again, that's debatable. Or is he open to leaving even if it's outside the Premier League? Because some players are open to moving, but only if they see it as an upgrade on when they currently are. And he may not consider Inter Milan or a team outside of the Premier League as such as a step up. So it's all a little bit up in the air at the moment. And I don't know, can Spurs afford to lose him? Because I know they need to bring money in, but is it worth their while to sell him, or would that leave them just worse off in the first than they are now? Because they've spent a lot of time building up all of their squad depth everywhere but the front line. Do they now want to start losing some of that squad depth in the back line that they've just built up? Do you know what I mean? I think it would have to be a good price. Lucky says Manchester United are now finally pushing for a third midfielder. Names being talked about are Tyler Adams and Sander Berge. There's mixed reports, Lucky. So some of the journalists are saying that we are definitely going for a third midfielder. Some of the journalists, including David Ornstein and Laurie Whitwell, have said it's uncertain. We might not. But definitely if we do, the two names that seem to be in pole position at the moment are Tyler Adams and Sander Berge. And while I do like what Tyler Adams does on the pitch, I absolutely do not like his injury record. It's the worst I've ever seen, including Alexander Isak. So I don't want him. Sander Berge, I'm not dead against, if I'm honest. He looked all right in the World Cup. I don't know much about him outside of that. But I would definitely, if my options are Tyler Adams and Sander Berge, I would take Sander Berge. Do you know what I mean? But I don't... While I think Tyler Adams plays well, he doesn't play often. So that's not what we need. Let me see. Lucky says, Shem, Tottenham have to stop buying. That's the end of it. Lucky has spoken. Random is here. Hello, Random. Did I say hello to you on the other stream? I spotted you and then I had just such a drama that I don't know who I said hello to and who I didn't. So if I have missed anybody off the teacups, I do apologise. All Boxed Up says Leeds won't take Spence. That's a fact. You might be one of the teams he was offered to. We don't know. Let me see. What else are we saying? DJ Milkshake says no to Enzo at City. Blossy asking everybody to please hit the like button. Please do. It would be very much appreciated, folks. We've definitely earned our like button this evening. And I have seen our Luke. Okay, no, I'm up to date. I'm more or less. Guys, I've defaulted to top chat. I was like, where's the rest of the people? Hidden by YouTube. There's Gregory. I see him now. Shem says we'll stop when we get a forward and a left winger. And not before. Mr. DJ Milkshake. Go and check out. I did a video when United were first linked to Tyler Adams, because all summer I had been saying I actually really like Tyler Adams. He's a very good player. I feel like he's more defensive than Alex Scott. I really like what I've seen of him for Bournemouth. What I didn't realise is his injury list is incredible. It's incredible, and not in a good way. It's really long. So I've changed my mind now. All boxed up with the factoids. Can I just point out that Spurs do not have to bring any money in for sales regards to SCR commercially? They are bloody loaded. Yeah, but you have to look at how much of that cash is actually available or liquid enough to buy players with. Do you know what I mean? You are right. They are falling as it stands into the loophole because they're not in Europe and it's a changeover from PSR to SCR. So you are right. They have a lot more room to manoeuvre than most of the rest of our teams, and they should make the most of it. But we also have to look at like how much of that money is fluid and where does it go? Because I've no idea with Spurs. I really don't. Gregory says it would be nice for United to buy anyone. There are not enough bodies on the team. Agree. The squad is teeny tiny and far, far too small to compete more than one game a week. Absolutely. I wonder if we can just borrow some of Chelsea's, because they've got too many and we haven't got enough. Shem says, can't afford to lose him. So you can't afford to lose Djed Spence. We are terrible at replacing right backs. And that's what I mean. Even if you were to get a good offer, it might not be worth it for Spurs because you would then have to replace him. And at the minute, you need to focus on getting in forwards. So the inconvenience might not be worth the amount of money that you would get for Djed Spence. You know? So we'll have to keep an eye on it, because it seems to be the rumour that keeps coming back around, but nothing's actually happening with it. So I'm just interested about that. Lucky is pushing for a quick signing. Yeah, as we should be. As we should be. But guys, tonight has been an experience. I am off to replenish my stores of energy after the drama-rama that we had to get this stream going. Thank you all so very much for sticking with me, for coming back through, for being on both streams. Shout out to All Boxed Up, to Rob and to All Boxed Up for sending in their super chats. I know it was on the initial stream, but it's all really one stream now, isn't it? Very much appreciated. I appreciate all the likes again on both streams, and mostly I appreciate your patience and your presence. Thank you very much, Teacups. Most appreciated. I will be back with you tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Friday? I will be back with you tomorrow, 12 o'clock, for a hopefully slightly less drama-filled stream. And we're going to end it with Mama Flossie saying a big up to Boffman. Big up to you guys, folks. Have a good one.